All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Left Wing. I am John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. TJ is not here today, but in his place, we have wonderful returning guests and also host of the number one luckiest branded podcast in the past week. That is Gage and Jeremy from Head in the Office. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Incredibly topical intro. Number one luckiest branded podcast, number one geopolitical podcast, number one. Just in general.
Yeah, it was
number one overall.
It was a big week for a podcast with our name. Very auspicious. Very auspicious.
I'm telling. So you guys, the reason, I mean, I love having you guys on. You guys are always great, but you guys re-entered my atmosphere because you hopped on Threads, or at least committed to going on Threads. Yeah. That's where I spend most of my time now.
Okay.
That I just find it easier than making TikToks to fit into my life.
That's valid. Yeah,
it's true. But I have to give you guys a compliment. You guys are born for Threads. Like you guys are just keep at it. Like that tweet that you had, I still call them tweets. They're all fucking tweets.
It's all tweet, yeah.
They're tweets. But when you were that's exactly what you said. You're like, this is a very big week for the name of our podcast in particular. I was dying laughing. So you guys have been killing it. Definitely go follow them over there because I want you guys to blow up as much as you deserve to. I'm trying to get more networking on Threads. Like that's where I'm really trying to push it.
Yeah, it's definitely a different environment than Twitter is.
Yeah, Threads is just so libbed up, man. Like there's just so many and like it's good to an extent because there's not as many Nazis like Twitter, but also there's a lot of people that's like, I don't know about that.
I also get the feeling like there's more conservatives now on there than there was like a year ago, but like half of them are bots at the very least. Like it's really weird just how many bot responses I get on there compared to other platforms, or it's just so obvious. I never was really on Twitter, so I wouldn't know that one. But Threads have been a wild place. And speaking of wild posts, we're just talking behind the scenes here. So Trump is just calling to hang Democrats now, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, man. See, real podcasts like us condemn political violence every single week, but not the American president. Apparently, it's kind of ridiculous the state that we see everything in. It's just like last year we had to have conversations about Joe Biden's fiery rhetoric after Trump was shot in like Butler, Pennsylvania. Joe Biden did not have fiery rhetoric. Joe Biden was not calling for violence, saying anything that would incite anybody to anything. He was one of the most uninspiring guys. Just in general. Now we have the president, like Donald J. Trump, going out here just directly saying that Democrats are engaging in seditious behavior and should be executed. And I don't like usually like doing the like, oh, Donald Trump is saying this, but it's not like a hop, leap, and a jump away to say that he's calling for their execution. It's damn near almost exactly what he said.
And like it's just the impetus for this is mind-boggling to me.
Yes.
It was all because of a video that a couple of Democrat senators and congresspeople made and posted on Twitter, essentially saying if you are a member of the armed forces, you have a duty to not follow illegal orders. This is the law. This was put in place after the Nuremberg trials because so many people said I was just following orders. So we put this law in place. You cannot follow unconstitutional orders. Democrats were reminding the military of this. And then Trump said we got to kill him. Like what?
The important part here is that, like, yeah, the Democrats said you don't have to follow legal orders. One, that's just the law. And two, the video is just a virtue signal. Yeah. That's literally all it is. They're just virtue signaling, pretending to like stand up and stand for something. It shouldn't have gotten any reach at all.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. And Carolyn Levitt today, I mean, this is how the Republican news cycle works. Like, I think this is a microcosm. This story is going to be gone in about 12 hours. Everyone's going to forget about it. But like, this is how it works. Republicans are in deep water right now. We're going to be talking about. I really want to have an in-depth conversation of who is winning the incompetence off between Democrats and Republicans because that is a very hotly contested game being played.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to get to that. But Republicans right now, they're on the shit end of the stick. With the Epstein Files, I would say they are on the back foot currently in the 24-hour hellscape news cycle that we live in. And so what do? They look for something to seize on. And they're like, oh, look, the Democrats called for the military to ignore Trump's orders and defy his orders. That's really bad. And it starts, I want to be very clear, it did not start with Trump. It starts with the influencer class, because I saw them hounding this yesterday. So they make it a news story. It gains enough traction where I know that Donald Trump himself isn't necessarily like checking in on social media, seeing what's trending, but it gets in front of his vision. He gets all riled up about it, or someone riles him up about it. We don't know exactly how that works. And then he goes and says something preposterous like, oh shit, we got to hang the Democrats for treason. And then that becomes a news cycle. Then you send out Carolyn Levitt, and she says, and misquotes the Democrats, and she says, A, Donald Trump is just stating the law. Sedition is punishable by death. This isn't a threat. Come on, guys, what are you doing? And the Democrats, by the way, they said that the military should deny his lawful orders. She explicitly said that.
She just
straight up lied. And when questioned about it, she just didn't respond. And that is the news cycle. It gets fed into Fox News. All of the MAGA people, this is the storyline that they get. And tomorrow we're going to be on to the next one. It is such a clear and obvious cycle. But you know what? I can't argue that it ain't effective, because it clearly fucking works to some extent.
Well, I mean, that point you make about like the influencer class and whatnot, that's like so true. Like it gets the influencer cans, they blow it up. But like the point that I want to expand on is that this isn't just like a Republican thing. That's just like how politics works now. And it sucks so bad. But to a lesser extent for liberals, instead of like the conservative podcast sphere, like blowing something up to get it in front of Donald Trump, on the Democrat side, we have Joe Scarborough and Morning Joe and White House staffers going to talk to Morning Joe and scheduling themselves in that block because they knew that that's when Joe Biden was watching. Everybody talks to the president now, not by actually going and talking to them, but by talking through their favorite influencer. And it sucks so bad, dude.
And it's been this way for what, it's 2016 was 9 years ago at this point. Like it has been almost 9 years of the number one way to communicate with the president of the United States was to get on the appropriate news show that he's watching. And that's insane.
We also had Tulsi Gabbard a couple months ago. I completely forgot about this until now, when she was doing the whole thing where she's like, oh, I need to get on Fox News so I can actually brief Trump about national security because he doesn't go to the meetings.
I remember.
Everything sucks now, man. It's so annoying.
You do got to appreciate Caroline Levitt's ability to just shamelessly lie, though. Like Trump on Truth Social, his social media platform, retweeted somebody saying like, you should hang them, George Washington would. Like that was Trump retweeting it, and then she was just like, well, he's just restating the law. Like, what are we doing here?
And I will say, like, I really hate the term stochastic terrorism. I think it's a term that while it is a real thing and should be talked about in academic circles, whenever I hear it thrown around in like the media or by politicians, it's always like, okay, you're kind of stretching things here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, as much as I know that Donald Trump isn't intentionally telling people to go kill these Democrats, that doesn't mean it won't be interpreted that way. Like, I would believe, if you give me a polygraph test, I believe that that's not what he's trying to do. But you do it enough, and gosh darn it, some crazy people are going to do some crazy things.
He's really getting right up to that line, though. Like that statement, like this is seditious behavior that could be punishable by execution, is like as close as you can get for calling for fucking Alyssa Slotkin, whatever, like without actually calling for it. It's fundamentally absurd, and it just shouldn't be accepted. Like that's like the Trump effect just in politics, is things that wouldn't have been accepted 10 years ago just are all the time, literally every single fucking day. It's ridiculous. Like we had Quiet Piggy. We had the thing about Jamal Khashoggi when Zelensky was in the Oval Office. He's like, what if I dropped a bomb on your head? Like there's a new like administration ending scandal. I swear to God, every week, dude. What do you do? How am I supposed to keep up?
Well, speaking of administration ending scandals, that brings us to our first topic of the day, and that is one Jeffrey Epstein. I haven't heard from you guys on this yet. We talked about it on the show in the past two shows. Obviously, this is the biggest story.
It's been going on for a while
right now, and it's been going on for a while. It kind of comes in and out. I feel like we're now on the tail end of an Epstein news cycle. But what? Just catch me up on your guys' interpretation of the situation.
Oh God. I mean, pretty much like I think the big takeaway from the situation is that like they've dug themselves such a deep hole we know that Trump is going to use this DOJ investigation to try and redact material that may incriminate him, may incriminate just people he wants to protect in general. We know that that's going to happen. We know there are going to be redactions. It's written that way in the legislation that was passed, that there can be redactions for like national security reasons and protect the victims, protecting the victims being the most acceptable of all of those, of course, obviously. And I think that because they've let this get so out of hand by being fucking psychopaths and alleged pedophile defenders, there's no redaction that can come out that won't be under such an increased scrutiny that will just fuel more conspiracies. This situation's never going to end because everybody's going to look at every little black bar, and we know that there are going to be pages that are blacked out, and people are going to wonder, and you're not going to be able to satiate that wonder until you just release the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'll just add, I always find placing this controversy in context is very helpful because I would say they've made the wrong move at almost every turn. From the beginning, back in February, Pam Bondi says the files are on her desk. And then a few months later, she says, all right, case closed. We found nothing. Epstein killed himself. Everybody look the other way. She releases she talks about that missing minute of footage. They release the footage. There's a missing minute. And then they say, it can't be found because it's a malfunction of the cameras. And then a few weeks later, it's, we actually found the video, but it has no metadata. So you can't actually investigate it. And then there's the birthday card. There's Mike Johnson saying he was an FBI informant. There's Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal attorney, now deputy attorney general, meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. And then Ghislaine Maxwell gets moved to a low security prison where she now has like unlimited toilet paper and plays with puppies or something. It's absurd. Like every single level of this story is ridiculous. And if you just tuned in and you just heard that Trump signed the bill into law, you might think, okay, it seems like we're going to get some transparency. But then you look at everything else they've done for the last 11 months of this administration, you think, okay, yeah, no, the names are all over the files and the pages are going to be heavily redacted and it's going to be a drawn out fight over those black bars.
Yeah, you look at how ardently this dude defended not releasing the files for the last, like, I don't know, 9-8 months or something. And you look at the switch up on Sunday night and it's like, okay, something's going on. And we know it came 2 days after they deployed a new scheme. Like, they can't even, like, time their things to make it not sus. It's just everything they do has been just obvious cover-up behavior.
And so that is this entire thing, because you just really summed it up quite nicely. But I do want to point out that the effect that it has on us, the American populace watching this, it has been genuinely, it feels like I'm getting drip-fed teaser trailers for like the next big MCU review.
Yeah.
Like it's just like every
Tom Holland on set just leaked.
Yeah. So, a couple days we get new little bits of information. It sparks a new news cycle. There's more speculation, and you're totally right. We just did this news cycle, so they did vote to release the files. And now it's going to be heavily redacted, and we're going to have a news cycle about, when are they actually going to release it? They're going to drag their goddamn feet doing it. And then when it does, it's going to be redacted. It's going to be a whole, and we're not going to get to the end of this maybe until he's out of office. Like, it's impossible to even speculate as to when the final hammer is going to come down. But I will say to those who are like, we're not actually going to get anything out of this, they're going to fully redact everything, all of that. I don't think that's possible because we're dealing with the most incompetent administration in the history of politics. Like, this is so bad. This is at least since that one fucking Roman emperor nominated his fourth Senate. Like, and even that, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump did something like that. But like, do we really think that the people who, and we're going to get to the Comey indictment later, the people who set up the press conference at Four Seasons Landscaping, the people who the fucking Signal chat, like, who invited a reporter to their illegal Signal chat, like, these people are not going to successfully redact everything from the files. There's going to be something that slips through the cracks, and we're just going to get more breadcrumbs until it all finally comes out. My question to you guys, because I see TJ is in the audience right now. And first of all, he has one very important question. Do you boys condemn Hamas?
Of course.
We had
always now.
And he gave me, TJ the history buff gave me, it was Caligula. I was going to say Nero, and I was like, no, it's not Nero. But so here's a question. So TJ, he believes really no matter what, this will not take Trump down. Like and under no circumstances, no matter what is revealed, Trump, he's going to wiggle his way out of this one like he always does. I disagree, because at least I think that if Trump felt that way, which he does about most things, he would be acting the same way that he always does. And this has been the most un-Trump-like, most cowardly, most defensive we've ever seen him. He's always playing offense, and this is the first time we've ever seen him seriously take a step back and try to play defense. So I think whatever's in there, he knows it's damaging, and that's why he's behaving this way. What do you guys think? Do you think that whatever's in there could actually take this guy down?
I tend to agree that, like, we get the quiet piggy thing. That's just what's at front of mind. He gets asked about the Epstein files and he hits her with the quiet piggy. Like, yeah, he's on the back foot. It's hard to imagine a way they get out of this that isn't the only real way out of this would be releasing the files unredacted to the extent that, as long as the victims' names are protected and Trump actually isn't in the files. But based on the way that he's acting, it seems like he's all over those files. I think, and maybe this is the bit of the pessimist in me, but I think the best outcome is just severe political damage. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Republican Party is ever really going to abandon him. I guess if we eventually get somehow some unredacted files that directly implicate Trump in like a heinous sex crime, we'll see if the dam breaks and Republicans move against him. But I find it so hard to believe that like a critical mass of senators and representatives would move to like impeach and remove this guy. It feels so unlikely. I have a hard time imagining it. But in terms of political damage, I think like there's nothing he can do about this. He's fully backed into a corner.
Yeah, impeachment and removal feels like genuinely like out of reach, but I can see a world. I feel like Doctor Strange in Endgame, you know what I'm saying? Like there's one out of the 400 something million possibilities that this reality could go. There's one way that could go. It's like the golden thread or whatever. I do think this is damaging either way, right? We usually don't like subscribe to like the moderate Democrat consultant class ideology of like, oh, the swing voter, do everything to appeal to the swing voter and blah, blah, blah. But in this instance, I do think the swing voter is like a very real thing that needs to be considered if we're talking just pure electoral base and whatnot. There's going to be the hardcore MAGA that no matter what comes out in those files are going to think that something is fake, something's been made up and blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be people that dig their heels in the sand. But I think the average dude that votes for Trump because he wanted egg prices to be lower, if they saw that Trump was in those files, allegedly, which he may or may not be, would be very turned off by what happened and would be very turned off if Republicans in Senate and the House didn't do anything about it. And that's kind of what motivated the damn near almost unanimous consent throughout the entire American Congress, except Clay Higgins. So I do think there's no way you can get out of this and it not be damaging. I
love that from Clay. I did not know who like, Clay Higgins was until he was the one person to vote against. Now, that's the only thing I know about him. He's the guy. And actually, I read his explanation and I didn't hate it. Like, in terms of explanations for it, it wasn't terrible. It kind of made sense. But at the end of the day, bro, like, read the fucking room. And that's such a bad look. Die on another hill, bro. Any other hill.
It's so funny because none of us here knew who Clay Higgins was. None of us here were ever going to know who Clay Higgins was. I'm not supposed to know who Clay Higgins is. His wife news was
like, Clay who?
Yeah. but because of that, now I know who he is, dog. That's a bad look. Not contrary to popular belief, not all publicity is good publicity. That's probably the one thing that is bad publicity.
we have a commenter that just cracked me up. He said, if you want a punching bag, bring me up. Jason from Boston. You build a platform that has more than, I'll say, 4,000 followers, and I will put you on this show. If I put everyone on this show that want to come on this show, like I could beat the shit out of any random commenter that wants to come on this show, but that's just not worth it. So build up a platform, then get back on here. But you're right, Gage. Not all publicity is good publicity, especially when the publicity is you're the only person who voted in favor of Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly.
That's a pretty bad one.
Like I can tell you the people who will be implicated in the files once they release, because there's going to be at least some people that are implicated almost instantly upon the first release. There are going to be names that aren't redacted just because they didn't give a shit to redact them and they know they got to give people something. They're not going to be feeling like all publicity is good publicity. I can tell you that. That's the one prediction I'm 100% sure of.
That's the way. And when they say like national security reasons, I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like that, you're telling me that there's information in these files that could threaten our national security if released, that just fuels the conspiracy. Like
maybe we don't deserve national security then, man. I don't know.
Exactly. If our national, if my security is,
it's got to be more
being
so
held
like,
up by protecting pedophiles, you know what? I'll risk it.
It's
Yeah,
about like international like relationships, because Epstein was a power broker for fucking everybody. I mean, he was talking about goddamn Putin. Ehud Barak is like implicated in at least some dealings with Epstein.
He's texting a fucking congressman.
Exactly. And then there's all the Prince Andrew shit. Like, whether or not they did anything heinous. I mean, Prince Andrew got his royal title stripped. That doesn't just happen to anybody for any reason. You know what I'm saying? But either way, there's a lot of powerful people, a lot of powerful countries that are going to be implicated. And if the U.S. is like leaking that information, maybe we shouldn't be having those relationships in the first place with these people. If these relationships are predicated on pedophilia, hey man,
hot take.
I don't know.
That's the thing where I'm just like, if I'm not actually worried isn't the right word. I don't actually think anything really legit is coming out anytime soon, or else we'd be seeing movement elsewhere. Like we'd be seeing panic. We'd be seeing moves being made by people who know they're in those goddamn files. And we're not seeing that right now. And there's no way all of them are smart enough to just keep quiet. Like there's just no way. So like it just feels like there's some sort of handshake deal. I'll tell you this. If you happen to own an ink distributor in the Washington, D.C. area, I would like to invest, because there's going to be a lot of black box ink on those goddamn papers.
I don't know if I feel the same way about like people would be moving differently if they knew they were about to be outed, because Larry Summers was named repeatedly in those emails. Larry Summers teaches at Harvard as well. And I saw one of his students took a video of the first class after he got, his name was dropped in all those files. And he did a little apology. He said he was ashamed, and then he just moved on. Like, I think a lot of these people are like remarkably dumb. Like they're just dumb guys, or they have never faced accountability and they don't think they will. So they're just like, I'll be fine. I have a bunch of wealth and connections. No one's going to come after me.
Bro, why is this guy in the comments doing a whataboutism with Hunter's laptop? That's so 2020. Come on, buddy.
Dude, Hunter's laptop is nothing compared to this. Are you kidding?
Go ahead and release everything on Hunter's laptop. I do not give a shit.
Hunter's laptop is a fucking water pistol compared to this.
Go for it, man.
Coughing baby versus nuke.
Oh no, Joe Biden helped Hunter Biden get a job. Have you seen what Jared Kushner is doing? Have you seen the $2 billion the Saudis gave him? Motherfucker bought EA with the Saudi public investment fund. Like, what are we talking about, man? Hunter Biden's laptop. Yeah, sure, it's bad. I'll concede that. Like, sure, go for it. I have no love for these people. But to say that holds a candle to the fucking Epstein Files.
It's wild. But you could make the same argument. It will be equally as impactful. Like that's the TJ argument essentially. And TJ doesn't say it's got to be impactful at all. I'm sure there's going to be people who go down here. Like it's almost impossible for no one to go down. Like
of course,
people are gonna be going down. Larry Summers is probably at the top of the list.
Dude, Larry Summers emails were insane. Dude, he went to Jeffrey Epstein for dating advice.
For Riz.
Like what the fuck?
Bro, he said, "How do I Riz up my student?"
If I'm Larry Summers, this is why I can't imagine living this life, because I'm like, I have all the money I need to go disappear to a tropical island somewhere and never talk to anyone who knows the name Jeffrey Epstein ever again. And what does he do? He walks into his class and he keeps teaching. Bro, why? Why are you working? Why? Just run. Get the fuck out.
Just resign from Harvard?
Did he resign from Harvard? I saw him resign
out
from his board position at OpenAI. I don't know if he resigned from Harvard.
Oh yeah, just that he's going to leave Harvard, but still, he's got infinite money. It just doesn't matter.
I feel like that's damning.
Well, he's fucked. That guy is fucked, because it's gonna be everything blocked out except for Larry Summers.
That's gonna be the guy they appoint as their fall guy.
The fall guy. Yeah, but that's the thing. If they were, I don't think they're confident enough to do this anyway, but if they were just trying to protect Trump, I think maybe they could do that. But here's the problem. They're also trying to hurt people. They're also trying to hurt Democrats. And in trying to hurt Democrats, they are going to leave enough open breadcrumbs. Because here's the thing, there is loopholes in this, but the problem is they're going to stick their hand in the cookie jar. And if they get caught sticking their hand in this particular cookie jar, the legal ramifications would shatter him pretty well. The problem is they probably wouldn't come down anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be clear, if there are Democrats in the files, lock them up, dog. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Democrat.
My position is anti-pedophile, like through and through. It goes.
I'm going to make a hot take here.
Yeah. hot take. Oh, guys, I'm really taking a stand on this one. I'm anti-pedophile.
Yeah. I condemn Hamas. I condemn pedophile.
Exactly.
Come at me, bro.
I condemn Jeffrey Epstein. I do. And I condemn the Democrats associated. It's fucked up that he was texting a Democrat during a committee hearing and she was asking the fucking questions he said.
That's so funny, dude.
It's fucked up that Democrats are like circling the wagons around her. Like I can't believe they're actually doing that.
Dude, Jamie Raskin was like, she took a call from a constituent.
Like, what are you talking? Just throw her to the wolves. What the fuck do you have?
Like, if you're gonna take this battle, you gotta accept that there's gonna be casualties on both sides.
Like this,
you gotta accept there's gonna be casualties on both sides if you want to take up this battle. Like,
right?
with this guy in control of the DOJ.
This era is just defined by people being caught doing something wrong and then describing it as broadly and generally as they can. Like Trump's name is in the Epstein Files. He's like, what? I can't hang out around my business friends. Like, someone can't take a call from their constituents. Like, dog, this is evil.
Is that kind of thing frowned upon around here?
Yeah.
It is wild, but like that is to put it more bluntly. That is kind of how a lot of people in a lot of positions of power have thought about these things for a very long time. And honestly, it's not even a lot of people in a lot of positions of power. Like, look what happened with the Catholic Church sex scandal. That took so much deep investigative reporting to convince anyone that it was actually going on, because people just fucking denied. They denied. It could not be true. Could not be true that these people in position of power are abusing children. Yeah. And you take that, you take just the reaction from like Larry Summers. He doesn't seem that concerned. He doesn't seem like this is a big deal. People don't treat the fact that Donald Trump, like, we know for absolute certain, we don't know that he necessarily did anything illegal, but we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was still talking and friends with Jeffrey Epstein when he knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. In fact, he even admitted it in a press conference this week, where previously his story was he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago because he was stealing employees, which
is still insane, by the way. He poached my talent.
But then this week he comes out and he's like, oh, I kicked him out because he was a perv. It's like, wait a second.
How'd you know that?
You knew he was a perv, and we all know what kind of perv he was. So you knew he was abusing children, and you did nothing about it besides make sure you weren't legally implicated. And like, in a sane world, that would be the end of it, guys. It would just be like, oh, yep, you're a jerk. I don't want you leading diddly shit because you're going to enable diddlers. So get the fuck out. That would be what any sane person would do if it was like a fucking teacher and their kid was being taught by them. Like anyone would do that. But for some reason, when it's something in an institutional power, people just deny. They denial is one hell of a drug. They just won't admit it to themselves that, yeah, that's the reasonable thing to do with someone like that.
You know, that Catholic Church point thing, that's important. And like, brief aside, isn't that what Spotlight, that movie with Mark Ruffalo, was about?
Yes, it was.
They're gonna make a crazy fucking movie about this in 10 years. I'm telling you, once these files drop, and then once we get a new administration and they stop that fuck ass DOJ investigation and actually drop the real files, it's gonna be a crazy movie. I'm gonna be butts in seat on that one. Oh, and
Mark Ruffalo is gonna get his way into that one too, because that guy hates Trump.
This is real. That guy's got good opinions.
I just like back to like the whole Mar-a-Lago, I kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago thing. First of all, like, nobody's asking why Trump had people that Epstein would poach working for him at his Mar-a-Lago spa. Like, why were there teenagers there? That feels like an important question. But also beyond that, I keep thinking back to how he is handling this Ghislaine Maxwell situation. Even if it was true that Trump genuinely kicked Jeffrey Epstein out because he thought he was a pervert or for whatever reason, why are you giving Ghislaine Maxwell luxury treatment? Like,
Yeah.
it's so damning. It is so. Ghislaine Maxwell, the pedophile queen, you're giving her luxury treatment. That's crazy.
You remember back when he goes, well, what's wrong? Why can't I wish her well? Her boyfriend just died.
Yeah.
He's always been on this wave, dude.
He has, and he acts like when he's pressed about it, he acts like, yeah, of course is what I would. He does. It doesn't even compute to him that maybe he shouldn't look like he's giving the pedophile queen luxury treatment. It doesn't even make sense to him. He's just like, yeah, bro, she's my friend. Why wouldn't I do? I'm rich and powerful. She is my friend. She doesn't have consequences. That's how the world works. That's really how he treats it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, any last words to wrap up Epstein here before we get on to other topics?
Oh man, yeah.
Lock him up.
Lock him up. Release the files, man. That's crazy.
All right. So, speaking of locking people up, he clearly doesn't want to lock up Ghislaine Maxwell. He would have Ghislaine Maxwell or Ghislaine, whatever, however the fuck you pronounce her name. I don't really care if I mispronounce
she's evil, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of people that Donald Trump wants to lock up, we have one, James Comey. I don't have you got, because this is, to me, it's such an interesting story, and I know why it isn't widely discussed. I mean, we have, the pedophile king and queen of the world being discussed right now, so it makes sense. There's bigger fish to fry. But the Comey trial, the Comey prosecution, it has been utterly insane. I rarely talk about like legal shit because I always say I'm not a lawyer. I don't really understand this stuff well enough. But this is so clear and obvious to me as like total legal buffoonery. How closely have you guys been following?
I can't lie. This has been a blind spot for me. The only thing I've really seen is one, when the initial indictment came down, and two, like, I think today I read something along the lines of like the court was dead silent because the attorney didn't do their job with the grand jury or some shit. So I'm gonna need you to fill me in low key. But it sounds like typical Trump administration does something to go after a political enemy, but they are incompetent at the task of governing. Like they just have no interest in doing it. They can't do it. It's like Kash Patel.
So it's even worse. Like, again, we have a long list of nominees for the dumbest things the Trump administration has done. Don't get me wrong. This is near the top because there's just a sequence of incompetence. So first, Donald Trump wants to go after Comey, even though Comey's a Republican, and in my mind, Comey is a bad guy. Trump also thinks Comey's a bad guy. Comey just has no friends anymore. Cool. And so he's like, I want to prosecute Comey. And every single federal prosecutor was like, nah, bro, I'm not going to do that. There is no case. And he was like, too bad. Make there be one.
And it's like when he fired the attorney who said that they couldn't find anything to prosecute Letitia James. Yes, he's like, okay, fucking. And then he put another one in who's like, I guess I'll find it.
Same thing. And then Siebert, I forget if he was fired or he resigned. He was the attorney general that was, or the attorney, whatever the fuck they're called. Yeah. He was the prosecutor who was supposed to prosecute the case against Comey, and he said, no, there's not a case here. I will not prosecute. And so I forget if he resigned or Trump had him fired, but he was replaced by Trump's personal attorney, Lindsay Halligan, who I cannot stress this enough, has never prosecuted a case before in her entire life.
That's so awesome.
She is Donald Trump's personal defense attorney. She's on the defense side of legal proceedings. She has never been a prosecutor, and suddenly she is prosecuting one of the highest profile cases you could possibly prosecute. She gets her indictment within days. And we're like, oh shit, well, it must have just been like total butt fuckery. Like it must have been so bad that she just like did the minimum amount of effort and somehow got it passed. And she was the only one to sign the indictment. And I made a TikTok about this. You guys can go to the channel. You can find it. But I made a TikTok, and I will hand up I was wrong. In that TikTok, I said, well, clearly she was the only one who signed it because none of the other prosecutors in the office would dare put their signature on that piece of paper because it is a crime to knowingly indict someone that you know is innocent. And they all did. Now, I was wrong about that. I was wrong. That is not the reason she had the only signature on the paper. The reason she had the only signature on the paper, and I shit you not, she just changed it when they said no, we're not going to sign this indictment, she changed it a little bit, gave it to just like the head juror on the case. He saw it, she signed it, no one else saw it. She was questioned in the court by the judge. Did the rest of the jury, did the rest of the grand jury see this indictment? And she said no, they did not. They never, the jury that apparently indicted him never actually saw the indictment.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's got to be grounds to like get disbarred, yeah.
That's why this entire situation is so crazy. Not and we can get into details of this, but like, yeah, that is what we're dealing with here. That is the level of competency we're dealing with. So when people are like, "Oh no, yeah, they're going to redact the Epstein files," are they? Are they? Or are they going to accidentally like send the unredacted files to the Wall Street Journal just coincidentally? Like, who fucking knows at this point?
Well, like. Isn't the phrase like you could get a grand jury to indict like a ham sandwich like true in some sense? Like it's very easy to get a grand jury indictment, which side note was insane to see that they didn't indict the guy that threw a sandwich at ICE or National Guard or ICE in DC, but DC grand juries have been on one recently. But I digress. Like you don't really have to lie to get a grand jury indictment. Unless they're just doing jury nullification, it seems like it's pretty easy most of the time. This administration is filled with just like incompetent fools. It's giving Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell during the 2020 fake election Dominion like scandal when Rudy Giuliani ultimately got disbarred.
Yeah.
Do you think
this is worse? Like this is
it seems worse.
The people who covered that and were like, "Wow, this is fucking crazy." Like they're like, "Whoa."
Do you think it was like an accident?
What was that, Jeremy?
Do you think it was an accident, or was she like trying to pull a fast one?
No, she was trying to pull a fast one.
Dude, that's awesome that she thought it would work.
So the other side, the other part of this story here is that the another line of questioning that the judge had was about the internal memos from career prosecutors. So all of the prosecutors in the prosecutor's office, like they talk about this. They say, "Hey, we should prosecute. We should not." Like, there's not just one person who makes the decision, right?
Yeah.
So they were like, "Hey, we have heard that there was a memo sent from the other career prosecutors in your office saying that Comey should not be indicted." Because the argument Comey was making in this portion of things was that this is a political prosecution, that this is a type of prosecution that is only being leveled against him because of Donald Trump's personal animus against him, and that it would never be tried. He would have never been prosecuted for any of this otherwise. And that is, he's going hardcore aggressive back at them. And so she was like, yeah, so like if like the rest of the office said, no, we shouldn't do this, and then Trump's personal attorney is the only one who's going to do that, that kind of would indicate that maybe this is a political prosecution. And the judge asked them about this, and they're like, that's privileged information, we can't say. And they kept trying to ask the question. They're like, yeah, no, we can't. That's privileged information. We can neither confirm nor deny that there was he said, I am aware of various pros and cons lists circulated on paper from different members of the office, but I can neither confirm nor deny that there was a memo that said we shouldn't prosecute. And oh my God, could there be a more guilty fucking statement?
It's like they're just sticking their fingers in their ears and going la 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 la. Like this administration is filled with children, man, who literally DEI administration. These people only got to the place that they're at right now because they're like, yeah, fuck with Trump. That's it. None of these people are qualified to do anything. And I'm not even like a huge qualifications head. You know what I'm saying? But none of these people know anything. Literally anything.
It is super awesome that she thought that would work. And to your point, John, I do think this gives some hope that, like, yeah, they'll try to redact everything from these Epstein files, try to protect Trump and Republicans in every way they can. But these people are so stupid and lazy. There's no way that stuff won't slip through the cracks. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to ask like ChatGPT to go through the files for them. Like,
well, it's a Herculean task to go through those files. There's no way people are actually doing it. And I know they're going to miss a typo.
Gage, they implemented global tariffs and use ChatGPT to determine what the terrorist.
Right, I forgot about that. And it did the math wrong.
A event in the global economy that affects every human being on Earth, and it was decided by ChatGPT. Do you really think they're combing those 50,000 files, however many fucking thousand files they got with a fine-tooth comb? And no, they're ChatGPTing that shit, and we're gonna see the results.
They're gonna miss some misspelling. It looks like that dude Epstein could not write to save his goddamn life. we're gonna get pages of redactions, and then there's gonna be one Terp did this with X, and it's just gonna be like, it's over. And then he's gonna deny. He's gonna say, that's not my name. That's somebody else.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I know that like this is the way you typically spell these things, but I recently, and by recently, I mean like within the past year, learned that Epstein is spelled E-I-N instead of I-E-N. And I have to check myself on that every goddamn time.
Have I been spelling it wrong every single fucking time?
E-E-S-T-E-I-N. Like I've literally looked this up multiple times. Like, maybe I'm wrong. No, it is, and it fucking kills me. No wonder he can't spell. His name's spelled wrong.
I need to check our Substack.
Oh God, but yeah. So and then I'll just briefly summarize like what Comey's actually on trial for, because that's also very funny. Because basically,
it's got to be just bullshit.
What he's on trial for is lying to Congress, and what they're alleging that he lied about was
Bill Clinton, bro.
Bill Clinton, right? And so they're saying lying under oath. And so what they're alleging he said was that he was asked, "Did you authorize a FBI informant to like leak this information to the media?" Right? And he said, "No, I did not authorize it." And Ted Cruz went, "Well, I talked to Andrew McCabe," which is someone who worked with Comey, and he was like, "McCabe said that you did authorize it." And then you go to the records, and it was like you go to like McCabe's testimony, and they're like, "No, what he said is that McCabe himself authorized it, and then later told James Comey that he had authorized it, and Comey didn't disapprove of it." And that is Ted Cruz's actual fucking argument, that means he did approve of it and therefore lied to Congress. That is what this entire case is based off of.
That's crazy.
I wish I was being uncharitable here. I am not. That is just a run-of-the-mill explanation of what this case is about.
Dude, when they come for the podcasters, man, we're fucked. If they're going to these lengths to like get these people, imagine what they're doing to somebody who's got a couple million hits.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. All right. Speaking of incompetency, I wanted to have a little discussion of who is more incompetent, the Democrats or MAGA. Now, we just spent a lot of time detailing multiple ways in which the Trump administration, MAGA, is incompetent. And we'll detail many more because we are just blessed with a litany of examples every single day of just how incompetent MAGA is. Fuck. They accidentally invaded Mexico today, and we haven't even talked about it. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
No, you didn't hear about that. Holy shit. Okay, I can't believe I'm breaking this news to you. So I think it was Marines. I could be wrong about who exactly what part of our armed forces or whatever.
Yeah, some branch.
But they went to like, it was very close to the Mexican-American border by the Rio Grande, and they set up a restricted area. They put up like signs and like, this is a restricted area. It was under the DOJ. It was like Border Patrol or something. It was not military, but they put out something like, this is restricted. We are commandeering this area of the beach, and we don't know why they did this. No one knows why they did this, but they weren't in America. They were on the Mexican side of the border.
Man.
So the Mexican police go over there like, who the fuck are you guys? And they're like, oh, we're like Border Patrol. And like, what are you doing? And they're like,
they said, no, we're Border Patrol.
The restricted area. And they're like, under whose orders? And like, our commander. And like, then like literally like Mexico sent their own Marines to be like, no, get the fuck out of here. They picked up the signs, and then the Trump administration was like, oh, our bad. We went to the wrong place. Dude, so yeah, today we accidentally invaded Mexico.
That's actually so sick. We need the border wall to stop us from going into Mexico. They literally need the wall to know where America is.
I'm
Dude.
joining the Spanish-American War on the side of the Spanish.
Insane.
Fucking Kristi Noem's underlings, man. They got no idea what they're doing at any time. It's awesome.
It's wild. Now, but not to be outdone, because it is like the volume of incompetence on MAGA, like it's just stunning. Like it's absolutely stunning. I will say to the day that I die, the absolute funniest thing to ever happen in American politics, probably ever will happen, was the Trump making a press conference at Four Seasons Landscaping. And then instead of just saying, oh, we're going to go somewhere else, having it there. Like that is just the funniest, most incompetent thing I have ever seen and hopefully ever will see. But oh boy, I have not talked to you guys about the Democrats caving on the debt ceiling, but not a fan. Shut down. But that was one of probably in a long line of Democratic clusterfucks, maybe the most self-inflicted wound I have ever seen. What was your reaction when that news came down?
Fucking confused, man, because they were at the peak of their leverage, and they literally snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Peak of their leverage, everybody was on their side. Poll after poll after poll after poll after poll after poll kept saying that Trump and the Republicans were the people who the American public was blaming for the shutdown. We just won big across the country, huge even in ways. Fucking Jay Jones won. Are you aware of what Jay Jones, like his controversy?
I'm not even sure who you're referring to here.
Brother, Jay Jones is the Attorney General elect of Virginia now. And
is he the guy with the text? And he was like,
yeah, he's like, we should their kids should die so they learn a lesson.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the guy that I am like, no, never. To prove that I actually care about these issues. He's not supposed to win elections. He fucking won because of whatever blue wave it was. He was carried by Spanberger, and it's like, you were at the peak of your power and you just give it up. You just resign for nothing. And they are complicit in traumatizing the people who are on Snap and who Trump tried to take away because Trump was holding those people hostage to play political games. They're now complicit in that because they didn't fucking win. They didn't get the ACA subsidies, and now people's health care is going to fucking skyrocket. Mm-hmm. It's all ridiculous. You can't pick that battle and do it and make the longest shutdown ever again under Trump and not get anything on the other side for it. That just looks like you're playing political games.
Yeah. And it, like, if this was just a random switch up where these 8 senators took the fall, and there are probably some more senators that wanted to end the shutdown, but have elections coming up or whatever. What they did was fundamentally undermine the messaging that the House had been doing for months. I guess for just over a month. The House had been arguing that this was Trump's shutdown because all he has to do was negotiate on healthcare tax credits for premiums. And by ending the shutdown, by choosing to end the shutdown, you essentially showed that was never true, that the shutdown was never necessary because the ACA tax credits were never going to go back into place. And it fucks over your own party. If you genuinely cared about the progress that the Democratic Party was making, there's no way you can justify what these centrists did. But I think that's the charitable interpretation. What I think really happened was there were a lot of Democrats in the House and the Senate that wanted the shutdown to end because of their donors, because of whatever, and they were just too scared to do it. So they chose a group of senators that were either retiring or didn't have elections in 2026 to take the fall because everyone's going to forget by 2028 that they were cowardly and did this. And so it's just another moment where the Democratic Party was making Trump unpopular, was making some progress. Again, as Gage said, maximum leverage in this moment. And they gave it up because they don't care about making progress. What they wanted to do was, I think they got pushed into doing it because they didn't do it earlier. And so they didn't actually want to extract those concessions. They just wanted to convince the base that things are okay when really nothing's changed.
The Senate Minority Whip, Dick Durbin, doesn't break from Chuck Schumer, break from party leadership. The fucking whip, the guy who's responsible for making sure the agenda is carried out, does not go and break from Chuck Schumer and get exactly the amount of votes if this isn't a thing that broader Democrats want. And I think it's important to remember that three of the Democrats who voted to open up the government also voted down $15 minimum wage back during Build Back Better or whatever I get the BBBs confused all the time now.
2021
stole Biden's flow, but back in 2021, it was Kirsten Sinema was then. The senators now is like Maggie Hassan, Angus King, and some other lady. I can't remember her name right now exactly because these people only come up when they ruin things. But like, it's ridiculous, man. The healthcare fight was a fight that like needed to happen. People's premiums are becoming unaffordable. That's something that will kill people. Mm-hmm. That's something that's going to make the state of healthcare in this country worse. Like you got to take it down. Cynically, I think that some of these people just got mad that their flights were delayed, like senators specifically. But that's like my most cynical take on the thing. But it's just like Trump held the 42 million Americans hostage, and that strategy was validated. And that's what makes me so upset about this whole thing. It really is. And nobody wanted to like stand on enough business to just come out and say that they personally like couldn't accept that those people were losing benefits. They personally couldn't accept that, because at least as a human, I can begin to understand that you don't want to feel like you're complicit in that pain, because that's real. But you got to look at a bigger picture here, kind of. The shutdown is really hard to talk about because there's damage that's going on both ways, no matter what's happening. But it's damage that's happening explicitly because of Republicans. And they're not shy about it. Trump went to court to take away food stamps from people. Trump was told he had to do it. And he's like, no, I can't. I think it's illegal. When has legality ever stopped Trump from doing anything in this administration? Only when it comes to feeding people. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It was a Republican shutdown. The damage is on Republicans because they didn't want to give people health care. They're talking about affordability. It's Trump's big affordability agenda. He's talking about big wins on this. Thanksgiving meals are down, while Trump, and the Republicans are raising 22 million Americans' healthcare premiums. What the fuck are we doing?
And my favorite theory for why Democrats actually caved, aside from like their flights were individually delayed, is I think Democrats might have thought that the filibuster was actually going to go away. I think they were worried that Republicans would actually pull the trigger and get rid of the filibuster to carry out Trump's agenda. And so they caved to avoid that ever actually happening.
Yeah, and that's the wild part of all of this, is that was like, they've gone around the filibuster before. Like, people talk about nuking the filibuster. It's only ever talked about in high leverage situations, because the Senate ignores the filibuster all the fucking time. Like, it happens. Mm-hmm. It's only when it's a high profile situation, like, oh, well, we can't nuke the filibuster. Like, bro, you did it like last week to like confirm this fucking nominee. Like, it happens. But like, they all want to like lay back on this and be like, well, you can't blame me for not doing my job. Filibuster, like that's why it's so sacred to all. It's why that was the first time that I've ever seen like a Republican Congress just say no to Donald Trump when he was like, nuke the filibuster, and Republicans were like, no, we're not going to do that. And that was the first crack, like that was one of the first cracks. You saw the giant blue wave in the elections that you guys brought up, like giant blue wave. I'm telling you, this is just anecdotal, but my voting district, we had a 66% turnout in an off-year election. Not
you
even a
midterm
election,
up, right?
An off year.
An off year. Yeah, it was nothing. 66% turnout. Absolutely insane. But like, that was kind of seen, not that high level, but like that energy was seen across the country. People turned out, I don't think to vote for Democrats, but definitely to vote against Republicans. And they had all the leverage, right? They had all the leverage. The fights that you just brought up, we could have rode this government shutdown into the holiday season. You just had to last 3 more fucking weeks, and you would have had thousands of flights canceled for Thanksgiving. Everyone blaming Donald Trump. And the Democrats looked at that. They're like, nah, I don't want that. Yep. I want to get nothing and open the government up for no reason whatsoever. They were finally, for maybe the first time in my goddamn life, winning a messaging war. They were winning the messaging battle. This is the Democrats' biggest weakness, is messaging. It's not policy, it's messaging. They were winning it. The American people just overwhelmingly said, yeah, we blame Republicans for the government shutdown. And then they're like, no, we're actually going to admit that it's our fault. And we're going to say we're going to end this now. And now everyone can blame us for the entire thing. And we get nothing out of it. And it's just a staggering level. Because if this was the end result, you should just never put down the government in the first place. You should never
exactly.
pick this fight if you weren't willing to stick with it for the next 4 fucking years. There should have been, I cannot believe that like anyone voted to shut down the government while thinking, yeah, well, 40 days, I'm going to open it back up again. No, you got to be in it for the long haul, motherfucker. You got like, that's not how negotiations work, you little bitch.
The thing about it for me is like they traded all this for the promise of a vote where the Senate is saying they're not even going to bring the vote.
Which
and
is
Trump is saying he would never sign it.
I don't know how it's the most insulting part. I would have rather not had the promise of a vote.
No, really, I would have rather literally been for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Because at least then you're not insulting my intelligence by telling me you think that this is going to pass a fucking vote.
Exactly. No, and it's the vote, but like the point of like the fight, right? Open enrollment for the ACA marketplace goes until January 15th. Every day until January 15th was an opportunity to get conservatives to cave, and you gave up all that leverage for the promise that they would do a vote under no pressure.
Yep.
Are you fucking serious? Who do you think I am? Like, God, man. It all sucks so bad. And it's like, when we're talking about elections and we're talking about this, like who's more incompetent, Democrats or MAGA, ultimately, I think MAGA conservatives are a bit more incompetent just because they literally cannot govern. But that's besides the thing. I think Democrats are incompetent in like a different and unique and awful way when it comes to the fact that I think they're going to see the election success that they had here in 2025 and think it was because of them and not because people don't like Trump. This is purely a reactionary thing. This is purely a reaction to all the awful things that have been going on. The government shutdown, which he was blamed for. ICE, which is just like dramatically unpopular in its violence that it's operating with. Fucking tariffs, affordability, the thing that got him elected has just been in the shitter. Everything he's doing is just unpopular. That's it. That's why you guys won big. It's not because Abigail Spanberger is uniquely inspiring. It's because people don't like what's going on.
Yeah, it's because like 150,000 people weren't working or getting paid in Virginia. Like, that is why. That's why she won. Because everybody was laid off or furloughed or whatever. Yeah, no, it's I do agree. I think Republicans, at least this version of the Republican Party, just cannot like understand how the government works. They can't make it work. And anytime they try to do something, it's a fucking disaster. But Democrats seem to be maliciously incompetent in the sense that they know that what they're doing is stifling resistance and sort of ceding ground to the right wing. But they do it purposefully, whether it's because of their donors or respect for the norms like the filibuster or whatever it is. I don't know. But it's just it's a different kind of incompetence that leads to a similar outcome because it allows the right to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and that is, people always say like, oh, it's what's the phrase that's thrown around? Not weaponizing competence. That the Democrats are complicit, essentially. I can't believe I'm brain farting here, but that the Democrats are complicit with the Republicans. Their goal, the controlled opposition. That's it.
Yeah. Like rotating villain shit.
Exactly. And it's like, I've never really subscribed to that theory because it would be very like there's so many incentives aligned against that being the case. It makes more sense to me that there are other incentives at play which cause them to act like they would be controlled opposition. But goddamn, when things like this happen,
when you see like a group of 8 centrists perfectly chosen so that they don't have an election coming up, how can you not think like, oh, they're doing this on purpose? Like, come on.
And then Hakeem Jeffries, if he had a fucking bone in his spine, he would have shot down Chuck Schumer. Like, Hakeem Jeffries could have taken the fucking guillotine and cut down Chuck Schumer and been like, you know what? You made us look really bad. Get the fuck out. And what does he do? No, he stands by his boy. He stands by his boy because all that matters to these people is retaining their own individual power, and they do not give a shit about winning. They do not care. It's like a sport. It's like a basketball team made up of only 5 Russell Westbrooks. Like that is basically what the Democratic Party is, and it's shocking. However, kind of the nice thing, I guess, is that Republicans, in terms of governing, you're right, they don't know how to govern. Yeah. They're totally incompetent. I'm gonna put up just some numbers here.
It's like Democrats, they got no O-line. You know what I'm saying? They got no O-line, crack under pressure. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. So here's just some wild numbers. In a Fox News poll out last evening, voters said White House is doing more harm than good to the economy. 46% said they've been hurt by the administration's economic policies. 15% said that they've helped, and 39% said Trump has made no difference. That's in a Fox News poll. 85% of respondents said they've either been personally hurt by Donald Trump or that Trump has made no difference. That's wild. Edelman this week released a flash update to his highly influential trust barometer, showing Americans are deeply fearful and distrustful of the Trump administration's top domestic fixation, accelerated AI. Big majorities are pessimistic about the technology broadly and super anxious that robots will eat their jobs. The global poll found that younger people in the U.S., 18 to 34, are much more distrustful of AI than their counterparts elsewhere in the developed world. Edelman CEO Richard Edelman told us people might believe that AI is globalization 2.0, that jobs will shift out of our country and jobs will go somebody to somebody younger and cheaper. In Wisconsin, the swingiest of swing states, a new Marquette Law School poll shows that Democrats are more motivated and more popular heading into the 2026 elections. Voters are flunking Trump on the economy and inflation. These numbers are brutal. 36% approve of the Trump economy, and 28% approve of his handling of inflation and the cost of living. Looking to the future, 60% think Trump will drive prices even higher. Just 27% believe he'll lower them. A Marist poll found Democrats have a 14-point lead over Republicans in the midterm generic ballot. If the 2026 election for Congress were held today, which party candidate are you more likely to vote for in your district? This is the first time in more than 3 years that Democrats have had a notable advantage on the congressional generic ballot. Marist notes a year ago, registered voters were split 48% to 48%. I will also note that this is the largest lead that Democrats have had in the generic ballot since 2017. It's staggering how mad people are. And like we kind of talk about this a lot in election season. Like no one really actually gives a shit about 90% of the things that we talk about. All that matters is vibes and also the economy, bro. Like if people are hurt,
and that's also vibes.
so that is vibes, but like because like when we talk about like the Biden vibe session, it was kind of vibes because when we look at it and we compare it, hey, Biden to the rest of the world, we're doing great. Like America's economy was objectively doing great, and it's realistic to look at it that way.
Well, but we're talking about the vibes-based economy, like discourse that was going on, like under Biden, right? Like that's what you're referring to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like my problem is not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but this is just been like in my head for a second. Is it's like we're going to continue to go through these cycles where voters don't like the economy under one party's presidency, and so they vote in the next person, and then they vote in the next one, and they vote in the next one, and we keep flip-flopping. We're going to go through this until somebody steps in and actually makes like a substantive change and recognizes what is wrong with the status quo that everyone claims to refer to. I think the only way to get out of just this like constant like party flop, Trump, then Biden, then Trump, then Biden, then Trump, then Biden, or whatever shit you want to talk about, is to genuinely have like a New Deal thing. Politicians need to get it, who are running for office, running for the presidency, need to understand that people's lives like low-key suck. The vibes are awful right now. Vibes are in the shitter. And that they need to advance policies that'll get them out of there. And that's got to be some New Deal type shit. Like people, there needs to be a radical change. The status quo isn't working for anybody. You can't keep putting in Democrats that just want to fiddle with the knobs when Republicans want to destroy everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's what I was kind of saying about the Biden comments. Like it was working, it was doing its job, but the Biden messaging was terrible because he was basically saying, guys, yeah, I know you're not struggling. Look at the graph.
Yeah,
exactly. And people were like, bullshit, that graph, bullshit, I'm struggling.
And like that bullshit, rent is 60% of my income. Like
exactly. But that's so Gage, I actually think you answered my question here. Because when I posed this question, when I was like, this is going to be a segment that we do, I didn't know what my answer would be. Who's more incompetent? Because like even when we talked about the Democrats and how poorly they fumbled the government shutdown, they got saved by the Republicans being incompetent with
the next day. The next day.
And in fact, it was a direct result of the government reopening, which Donald Trump wanted to happen by nuking the filibuster in order to open the government so the Epstein Files could be voted on. It's just a clusterfuck, a train ride of incompetence. It just gets worse and worse and worse the farther you go. But here's the thing, Gage, you brought up a great point. There is a way out. There are things that can be done in order to improve America's economic situation, improve the lives of everyday lower, middle, upper class Americans all across the board, except for, some of them. There's things that we can do. And that's why I say the Democrats are the less incompetent party, because while leadership is fucked, we're starting to see rising stars take that step forward. We're seeing Zoran Mamdani go from a nobody state assemblyman to one of the most famous Democrats in the country, toppling Andrew Cuomo and the old guard within a year. We're seeing a communist mayor being elected in Seattle. We are seeing people on the Dem side of the ticket with actual plans for addressing economic concerns that aren't just we're going to do more of the status quo. And you know what? I'm not seeing that on the other side. I'm seeing no off ramp or bright stars on the right for, if Trump doesn't work out, what do? There's nothing there.
Well, I think the difference is like the rising stars that are in the Democratic Party are Zoran Mamdani, who's talking about affordability, who's got actual plans and policy and good vibes. You know who the rising stars on the Republican Party are? Fucking Nazis like Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes was just on Tucker Carlson, and they're having a Republican civil war about whether or not they should accept Nazis into their ranks. The Heritage Foundation said it was cancel culture to say Nick Fuentes is bad. Like that's what we're dealing with here. One party wants to fundamentally destroy everything to get a short-term payday, and the other party just wants to fucking fiddle with knobs. And we're watching things like split in a way that cannot be reconciled unless we stick with the people who actually want to address affordability, appoint the proper villains, not immigrants, but the 1% that continues to do literally anything they can to squeeze out any extra profits that they can every single quarter at the expense of anybody else. That's where things need to go. That's where politics needs to go. We can't just keep talking about, I don't know, fucking whatever means tested program, whatever 1 or 2% down payment assistance on a house. Housing is just too fucking expensive.
Yeah, I'll also add to that list of like rising stars. Omar Fateh in Minneapolis got like within striking distance of Jacob Frey, which he should not have been able to do. He didn't win outright, but like Jacob Frey, for all intents and purposes, compared to someone like Cuomo, much stronger candidate. Incumbent, somebody who's done a couple of unpopular things, but for the most part is like a competent individual. Omar Fateh almost beat him on the message of affordability. We need to like invest in public services in the same way that Zoran did. And I'll also say like we've got a lot of progressives that it's still an uphill battle for progressives, but we also can look at moderates, people like Alyssa Slotkin in our state of Michigan, somebody who has been a centrist, literally runs on being a CIA agent. Even she feels the wind shift and is arguing in favor of banning corporate PAC money. Like these people are shifting. A lot of intelligent Democrats that are like more centrist types feel the wind shifting and are forced to take positions that they wouldn't before. And that is ultimately, I think, a very good sign and a very good direction for the party to go in. There's going to be resistance, obviously. There always is to changes. But I think when I see someone like Alyssa Slotkin say that we need to take on corporate money, even though she got elected in part because of corporate money, it makes me feel a little bit more hopeful. That we can make some changes that are necessary to fucking save the political system.
Yeah, as much as we're Alyssa Slotkin haters on our podcast, there is credit that I will give her to the sense that like she is showing that she has a greater ability than most Democrats to see where the winds are going and actually adjust course. Whether she's not going to become a progressive, she's not going to probably ever do anything super like surprising to me, but she will get behind things like, I don't know, the PRO Act, or she will get behind like other like things that are progressive adjacent policies and pass them if it's popular. Like she's kind of a popularist in that sense, and I guess the winds are going that way.
She's a CIA agent through and through, man.
Exactly.
That's what she does, dude.
and I mean, you guys making a big point here where the winds are. I've been accused of being an optimist, which I am. But I do like look because I don't see the point in just pure pessimism. If you're going to tell me we're fucked, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, shit, why are we even talking about it?
Exactly.
What is our victory condition? How do we get there? Right. And I was saying back in as far as 2023, oh shit, look at where the winds are blowing. Even back then, we had more elected Democratic socialists, outright self-avowed socialists in Congress than at any point since socialism was an actual like fucking party back. And in fact, we actually passed the amount of congressmen who are labeled as socialists since like the 1920s, right? We have sweeping progressive movements, more labor organization than we've had in many, many decades. Like all of the trends are going in the direction you would want to see them to go if you were trying to achieve a New Deal, right? Mm-hmm. And that is, we have this opportunity. And TJ's the pessimist. TJ says, nah, it never works out that way. We're going to go back to the status quo. and things are going to chug along in this neoliberal fucking late stage capitalist hellscape. And you know what? I do think the smart money is on that, guys. I think the smart money is on that. That's probably what's going to happen. But fuck. When Zorhan Mamdani announced, like, he became a thing and he was polling at like 12%, I remember thinking to myself, boy, if this guy does it, if this guy is able to topple Cuomo and become an openly socialist mayor of the financial capital of the United States of America, that means something. And maybe it's fucking the hopium, right? But damn, it feels like we have an opportunity. Trump is going to self-immolate and something's going to take his place. And the Democrats might incompetent their way themselves right back to where we were with Biden. But we hopefully we learned that lesson recently enough to not repeat the same mistake. There's a chance. Do you guys think I'm crazy here? Do you guys think I'm crazy? Am I just being way too optimistic? Or would you agree we do have a chance as a people right now to do something that we all thought was impossible just 5 years ago?
I mean, I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance precisely because like the winds are changing, right? Like everyone's talking about the Democrats like suck bigly. They hired a social media intern that's like doing the shit right now. And obviously it's not all social media, right? But it's like things are going in the right direction. We're starting to have the right conversations and the right people are starting to feel uncomfortable with what they're doing. There's a lot of work to be done. I'm gonna be a realist in that sense. Like there are still going to be senators that want to stop things like $15 minimum wage because they think it's going to make a fucking McDouble cost $20. But they're gonna start feeling the heat more than they ever had before because of the like whatever freshman class comes in, what new people are coming, what voices get elevated in the party. There's a lot of work to be done. Don't get me wrong. I don't think things are going to change bigly with the 2026 midterms, but I think there's a road where the future is a lot brighter, depending on some good choices. And I don't want to lose that. I mean, part of our podcast and like why we do what we do is because like we don't want to be pessimists. We don't want to be doom and gloom about this because like as bad as things are right now, as shitty as everything is right now, like these people like fucking suck like all around and they should be clowned on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like these people are corny and I just think they haven't been told that enough.
Yeah, history never ends, right? Things will always continue to happen. My bellwether for the next 4 years, anytime I see a candidate really, is how they talk about immigration and how they talk about Israel. I think those are two of like baseline issues that give me a sense for what somebody's going to be like morally. And on immigration, it's simply combating the fabrications of the right wing, right? The border crisis is entirely invented. It's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. The crisis is the lack of like NGOs at the border and the fact that we need more like civil judges and processing.
We need more money in the court system. That's basically that solves the entire problem.
That's the extent of the problem. And if a candidate can push back on the idea that there's like an invasion or that immigrants constitute any kind of threat at all, then I think that's a good sign. And then on Israel and Gaza, it's easily just pointing out that like we were complicit in a genocide, and it's part of the reason that people became disillusioned with the Biden administration. If they can do those two things, and they have a track record of recognizing those two things, I think that's a good sign and a good indicator for where they'll be on a lot of other issues. I mean, we look at again, just taking it back to Michigan because I live here and I focus on politics here. Abdul El Sayed is running like the progressive campaign for Senate in the primary. His main competitor, well, he's got two. Haley Stevens is like the corporate chill. The one that a lot of people are sort of landing on as like the not radical progressive, but the not corporate chill is Mallory McMorrow. And even she had to admit that it was a genocide, right?
Very reluctantly,
and
with caveats.
And she's had a close association with AIPAC for quite a while now. And she's spoken very highly of Israel just as like a project before. But even she had to call it a genocide, which to me makes me feel like public pressure is just reaching such a degree that like even people who are resistant to change are forced against their will to change their positions if they want any chance of holding power.
Yeah. And that is a very, very good sign. Before we get to our last topic here, I just want to address some of the comments that we've been getting. For example, Pry Bark Knives says, "You guys are funny." It's my favorite compliment. Anyone who says that we're funny, you get your comments shown on this. Colby says that I'm a top 3 hope-pilled white guy right here. Colby, I want to know who's above me. I want to know who's above me. Let me know, and we'll see. We'll see if I can beat him. Also, I cannot not mention Truth Only here, saying as an independent, once hurting Trump with MAGA was the files and prices. He also said,
dude, Gangster Biden is awesome.
A walkaway Dem now, an independent, a walkaway Dem after 40 years because I witnessed the most diabolical administration under Biden in my lifetime. Lawfare, border, Gangster Biden, etc.
Gangster Biden, dude. Fuck
gotta
yeah.
be satire, right?
I just want to say, I believe you wholeheartedly. I believe that you are actually a 65-year Democrat who saw Joe Biden and was like, "Oh well, this guy's a bridge too far. I'm going Trump now." Totally believe you, bro.
Joe Biden, Merrick Garland's lawfare.
Dude, I love Gangster Biden, dude. I wish Biden was moving half as quickly as they say he was. That shit's awesome.
That's why to go back to the shutdown, one of my favorite bits from the shutdown was conservatives saying the Democrats are going to nuke the filibuster as soon as they get power. My Democrats? Not my Democrats, I can tell you that. If I know my Democrats, they will not do anything ever.
If the Democrats were a fraction of what conservatives accuse them of being, the world would be such a better place. Oh my God. And then lastly, last comment I want to bring up here, Colby asks, before I forget and this ends, are you guys familiar with Progressive Victory?
Vaguely, yes.
Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah, I think they're just an organization that goes around to help progressive candidates just around the country. I think they did work with what's her name? Katie Miller in Seattle?
Katie Wilson?
Yeah.
Whoever it is.
I'm
thinking Katie Miller, like Stephen Miller.
No, yeah, I was going to say Katie Miller, I'm pretty sure Stephen Miller's wife, but it was something like, it was some basic white girl name.
But shout out. Shout out.
No, I gotta say, I do love this comment.
There we go.
I do love this comment from David, whatever the fuck his name is. You people are insane, care about one dead guy doing shit on an island, yet ignore Islam that will absolutely eat your children and women alive.
This is what I'm
talking about. What are we talking about?
This is what I'm saying when it's like people describe evil behavior in the most general way possible. Like, one dead guy. It's a worldwide child sex trafficking ring that was used as power brokering to as leverage over the most powerful people in society.
Like, it is quite literally a web of pedophilia that spans between the richest and most powerful people on the globe. And it's some guy doing shit on an island.
Doing shit on an island. Absolutely wonderful. Also love just how much blatant Islamic prejudice is just like taking over the country.
Oh my God!
You'd think we're back in 2003. Like this is it. Have you guys like know? Am I like? Is this just like anecdotal? But I have noticed in the past year, Islamophobia has skyrocketed.
Did you see all the 9/11 tweets after Zoran won?
Yeah, right. Like, I'm just like, who the fuck is fucking stoking these flames? Like,
even Cuomo got in on it. Yeah,
right. You're darker darker and thicker in like campaign material to make it look like not more Muslim.
It's not just like the Charlie Kirks of the world. Like it's like it is becoming more and more. And people are like, "Oh, I'm afraid of Islam." Since fucking when, bro? I was alive from like 2010 to 2022, and Islam was never a fucking problem. It was never thought. It was never scary. It was like it was just like, oh yeah, we got a little weird with that after 9/11. Understandably so.
Got a little weird,
really, but like I do get what you're saying, and then we put it to bed. We're like, yeah, that was a mistake. We're back, bro. We're back with the Islamophobia. It is all the way in vogue, and I don't know what brought it.
Well, this guy's saying he's been Islamophobic for 30 years. So shouts out, I guess.
He said, "I'm English, by the way. I lost my hometown to Islam, brother. You lost your hometown to landlords. Like, be for real."
He said, "Who cares? I care about the working class. The working class cares about the Epstein Files, brother." Like,
yeah. The working class, bro, buddy. I love it. If you guys are loving this, if you're hating us, I don't care. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday, 6:35 EST, live. So come here, yell at us. I fucking love it. So does the algorithm. So the last topic that we had for today was something that you guys want to talk about, which is, will Trump declare war on Venezuela? Particularly, there's a couple options. Again, we discussed how he accidentally invaded Mexico today. Like, what is going on with Trump and his Department of War? I'm kind of two minds about it. I'm like, he wouldn't dare, but also he often dares.
Yeah, I do want to be precise with the language. Trump can't declare war. That is a power of Congress. As much as Trump would have you.
Just because he can't do it won't stop him from doing it.
And I feel silly every time I say it.
Yes. But the thing is that, like, so this saga's been going on since about the beginning of September. That's when we started hitting drug boats in the Caribbean. Just recently, a military official was briefing Congress in a closed door session, I believe, and they essentially admitted no fentanyl has been on these boats. Cocaine has been on these boats. Trump has been talking about fentanyl. Pete Hegseth has been talking about fentanyl. No fentanyl has been on these boats whatsoever. So the pretext itself is just a lie. And we already knew that, of course, because Venezuela isn't a part of like the fentanyl trafficking trade. That usually comes from Mexico, precursors coming from China, whatever. But the way that Hegseth and Trump have been talking about this is we're going to wage war on the cartels in Venezuela. And so what comes off of that description is attacking these drug boats. But now we've moved something like 15,000 military personnel off the coast of Venezuela. We've moved the largest aircraft carrier in the world off the coast of Venezuela. And now I'm just sitting here like, I don't think you need that many people, that much firepower to get a couple of boats. We want to do a land invasion of Venezuela. And the Trump administration has advanced basically no legal justification whatsoever for this imminent invasion, other than they just don't like Maduro. And like Maduro, bad guy. I'm not a fan of Maduro whatsoever. I'm not a big fan of the Venezuelan government, but I don't want to do a regime change war where we go and get a bunch of our people and innocent civilians killed. That's crazy. I think that's what's going to happen.
Anytime we get involved in this regime change stuff, even if the leader's bad, it doesn't typically work out for us, man. It's just, and to me, it just feels like the Trump administration is trying to engage in like the just old colonialism, old imperial empire building and whatnot. And it's just not in the modern age. Like, I don't know, bro, go to the IMF, go to the World Bank or some shit. That's how we do neocolonialism. Why are we the no new wars guy? The pro-peace president, the guy lobbying for a Nobel Peace Prize is really getting out here and talking about like, we needed a Nobel Peace Prize while actively lining up troops for training exercises in Venezuela. That's what Russia said they were doing before they invaded Ukraine. They put all this equipment, they put blood bags on the border, and that's basically what we're doing right now.
Yeah, no, shout out to Colbris in the chat. Yeah, Oliver North feels like an apt political analyst for this because it is straight out of like the Reagan-Nixon era of how we intervene in other countries militarily. It's just, but this time it's like not secret at all, right? Like Reagan hid his administration hid the fact that he was doing the Iran-Contra stuff. And Nixon, Henry Kissinger was going bananas with covert operations. Trump just talks about this openly. He's like, we're just going to kill these people. Like, it's not a secret. Yeah,
he's just
absurd.
Truth socialing his military commands.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, so I think that's about where we are.
So I'm going to agree with you guys on something. I'm going to disagree with you guys on something. I agree with your general position here. Like, war bad. We should invade Venezuela. Regime change bad. Maduro bad, but also regime change more bad. And boots on the ground, super duper supercalifragilisticexpialidocious bad.
Yes,
I agree with all of this. The thing I will disagree with, though, is you guys are describing this, in the context of American history, where we've been involved in many such armed conflicts in the name of neocolonialism. Look at the Iraq War, look at Vietnam, look at basically anything that's happened in the past, militarily in the past, since World War II, right? And I don't think that's the case here, guys. I think you're giving way too much credit to Donald Trump. People are like, oh, it's about the oil in Venezuela, which like that might be like a nice little aside, like, oh, they have oil there, maybe we can get it. But I don't even think it gets that complicated. Donald Trump likes seeing explosions. Donald Trump knows that war is strong. He wants to be a strong man. Strong men go to war. And it's not neocolonialism. It's not some like fucking 4D chess here. He needs a bad guy. He needs a bad guy so he can be the good guy. He needs a weak bad guy so he can be the strong good guy. And Venezuela, well, fuck. They're pretty darn weak. They got oil. They could be maybe drugged. Like Maduro is involved in the cartels there.
Yeah.
There could be some weak fucking premise for a war, and you know what? It's better than fighting an actual country.
I think there's an aspect of this that's definitely fair to analyze on the sense that like Trump likes explosions and whatnot, because it like part of it feels like if you're ignoring the regime change, the blah, 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 any like possible CIA 3-letter agency-esque motivations that they may have, you can look at the situation like Trump has gotten lost in the sauce on just a rhetoric, and he's convinced himself to believe things that are supposed to be justifications for others. Because with Venezuela specifically, Trump has been trying to allege since day one of the administration, basically, that Tren de Aragua has taken over the Venezuelan government or whatever, and they're sending forces to the United States in an invasion. And he's using that to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to do mass deportations. And this, I think there is a world where it can be analyzed as kind of an extent to that. They're drinking their own Kool-Aid, they're believing their own lies, and it's getting them to this place. But I do think that it's just this kind of like, we want to get back to like the old way, the old United States that was going and doing whatever they want around the world to get whatever they want.
Yeah, I'll build onto that and say, like, yeah, it's in line with like the Department of War stuff, right? Like Trump is very much, his mind is stuck in the 80s. That's why he said like quiet piggy, as we talked about earlier on the live here. I think you're right. He wants to like see explosions. He thinks doing war is a symbol of strength. And this is just what the US used to do all the time. And to your point about like neocolonialism, like if we wanted to do the neo-imperialist thing to Venezuela, we would impose conditions like we're about to impose onto Gaza with the UN resolution. Like that is purely, plain and simple neo-imperialism. I mean, we're sending in the World Bank to manage a trust fund. It's over for Gaza. But Venezuela, yeah, we want to see death and destruction because we think it makes us look cool.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
I really think that's, I think it's, the bare bone strategy is have an enemy to justify the aggressive behaviors I want to do. But probably the more important factor here is that it's some shiny keys that you can dangle in front of Trump. Like if you look at all of Trump's cabinet members, it's clear and obvious that they take action so that they look good to Donald on the news. That's all that fucking matters.
Christy Nolan.
That's why a bunch of fucking Fox News hosts are now in positions of power within the U.S. government. It's why you have these people who have never done these jobs before. All that matters is so they can look good to Trump on the news. That's all that matters. And explosions look good to him. War looks good to him. Makes him look strong. Makes him look tough. He was like, I'm the pro-peace president. No one fucking. I don't even think Republicans believed that. Like when I swear to God, I don't think a single Republican actually believed that. I think they were all in on that lie. Would you disagree?
Well, yeah, I think if I want to build off like the point that you're making as well, when it comes to like the peace through strength thing, to the Trump administration, it's not just peace. There is no peace. It's peace through strength. So to have peace through strength, you have to be projecting strength onto something. So it's a battle they want to pick so that they can show all their shiny new toys and, I don't know, boost Raytheon stock because he loves boosting stock of his friends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cynical ways you can look at it.
And to the point earlier about MAGA being incompetent, it's going to be a bloody disaster. They are not going to manage this well at all. If we do end up launching like a ground invasion, it's going to be an atrocity for us and probably for civilians in Venezuela.
And it's like, how do you even rally the troops on this one? You know, like you don't even have like some big bad enemy like communism to say. You don't even have like the Iron Curtain, not the Iron Curtain, but you don't even have like domino theory motivating soldiers in Vietnam to stop the spread of communism, even though that was awful and demoralizing for the people who were there. There's no like myth. There's no consent manufacturing that's been built around Venezuela. Well, like there was the various wars on terror.
The one thing that Marco Rubio, I believe, is going to do either tomorrow or he might have done it today after we stopped recording our pod earlier, but he's going to designate Maduro a narco-terrorist associated with the Cartel of the Suns. The Cartel of the Suns isn't real. It's a thing that journalists came up with to label certain corrupt Venezuelan officials that had like a sun emblem on their clothing. It's not a real thing. So we're just inventing justifications.
First is tragedy, then as farce. Like once again, everything this administration is doing is just like farce. Like what are we talking about? They got no sauce with it. They seriously can't. They're trying to do the manufacturing consent. They're trying to do the lying to the UN thing with the little vial. They're trying to do WMDs without actually having like a cause that anybody gives a shit about.
And that's the wild thing, Gage. Like Colby mentioned in the comments, he's like, I want a new Jerome Powell to lie to the
Jerome Powell. Colin Powell. Colin Powell.
I didn't even notice. That's going to get him out of the Fed right there. We're good, guys. Interest rate 0%, -1.
But that's the thing. It's like that's not even going to happen. We don't need that. Like they don't need. They're just like there used to be this pretense in America where at least you should lie. At least you should say there's a good reason for doing this. That doesn't exist anymore. It's just Trump says they're terrorists.
Dude,
That's
the
it.
Bush administration spent like a year and a half building up consent for the Iraq War. These guys aren't even trying.
Yeah, they built it up so well that people still like believe a lot of that shit.
Right? And like I don't know. Like I was a kid, guys. I know you guys we're also kids. Like
I was 2.
I don't know what like tap on the power of the executive there was to require him to build that consent, but whatever it was just belief that he had to do so. Trump is just showing us, well, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's like
it doesn't fucking matter. You don't need to manufacture consent. You don't need a reason. You don't need legal theory. Just blow the boat out of the water. Who gives a shit? It's not even Venezuelan. Cool. Colombia is upset. Well, suck my dick. What are you going to do about it? And suck my dick. What are you going to do about it? Has been a very successful legal strategy for Donald Trump so far.
No, literally, it's like they're trying to pretend that like the fentanyl crisis is the new 9/11 that's going to get people to want to go fucking fight and die in Venezuela.
We're not going after the Sackler family over that.
Exactly.
We're not going after anyone who actually caused this. We just want to blow boats out of the ocean. Boats that couldn't even get to the fucking United States of America if they goddamn wanted to.
Well, and specifically, we're not going after China, which is where a lot of the precursors from fentanyl go into Mexico and then go into the United States. We're just going to a little country we can push around because China big and scary.
That was like the one thing I remember Merrick Garland doing was actually prosecuting Chinese corporations that were like doing fentanyl shit and sending it to Mexico to be a precursor. Like that's like the only thing that guy did.
Which by the way, one of my favorite, because they're always like, oh, well, if this fentanyl reaches America, it's going to kill thousands of Americans. And what I like to say to that is, so you're telling me that the drugs are killing the people and it's not the person's personal responsibility to not take the drugs? That seems like an interesting theory you got there. It's not even applies to anything else.
Man is cynically weaponizing personal responsibility. Weapon to pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, guys.
Oh God! All right. Any last notes on Venezuela?
I don't want to go to war.
I think my last note.
Wait, okay, let's ask that question. Like tomorrow, we wake up to the news. We have invaded Venezuela. Obviously, Congress didn't approve of war. We all know that Trump can't declare war, but Trump can invade Venezuela at any fucking moment that he wants. And once he does, we know from historical precedent, Congress ain't going to do shit about it. So, like, let's say you wake up to that news tomorrow.
I truly think I think Congress people, even like Democratic Congress people, I think they're just mad that they're not being filled in on this. Well, like, I think they'd be okay with it if they were just asked about it in like a private briefing. But I mean, if we wake up tomorrow, Venezuela's being invaded, I mean, I do think it would just be like an ungodly amount of death. Because Maduro said, like, we're going to fight back if this keeps going further. Like, you keep killing random fishermen. If there's an invasion, if there's land strikes, like, we're not just going to sit and take it. So I do think it's like hundreds of U.S. service people probably dead over the course of a couple weeks. Definitely hundreds, if not thousands of Venezuelan civilians are going to just be massacred in this process. It's going to be real bad, real bad.
Yeah. And TJ says, get ready to get drafted, fellas. And
ineligible, baby. Let's go.
I got bone spurs. And by that, I mean, I have a doctor who will say I have bone spurs. So that I'm out of it. I guess
you and Donald Trump, baby. Come on.
God. Okay. So Mark says foolishness, no boots on the ground, Venezuela. Mark, I really hope you're right. Mark is one of
I hope so, man.
Followers. And so I hope that you are right. And I hope that conservatives and Republicans like yourself, he'll call himself a Wall Street Journal Republican, right? But still supports Trump. I hope that's the case. Like, if it I don't even know this will happen. I'm not going to say it will because, like, I'm not that confident. But if it does, I better see that exact reaction across the board from the vast majority of Republicans.
I just like, I don't know why we would send 15,000 troops to Trinidad and Tobago if we're not like planning a ground invasion of some kind. It's an island right off the coast of Venezuela. Like, what are we doing out there? We got aircraft carriers. We have like a military submarine out there.
Why?
What are we doing?
We're not even posturing for anything publicly. That's what I think. That's like ultimately, to me, what really calls into question, like, we might be doing something real fucking stupid here. Is there's no real demands that are being levied on Venezuela. It's not like we're in like a cold policy type war with them, sanction battle, blah 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 blah. Even though there's shit going on, there's shit that's been going on since Biden and whatnot, and even Trump won. But it's like there's not public demands, there's not anything. If it's posturing for the sake of projecting strength and the aesthetics of violence and whatnot, which would be in line with the administration. Look at what ICE is doing, but that doesn't lead to anything good.
That's the case. Like, that's why I'm like, shit. As much as I think there's no fucking way that we're going to go to war with Venezuela, because that'd be so crazy. The only logical reason that I can see for any of this, you're right, they're not making any demands. There doesn't seem to be any negotiation going on.
No,
it's just posturing. And the posturing, as we know, can only escalate. Like it can only escalate until eventually, we're all fucking eating Vietnamese food, not Vietnamese food. Venezuelan
shout out
food. I don't even know what Venezuela has for food.
It's also like a tremendous waste of resources, right? Like sending our largest. It takes so many resources to move aircraft carriers around. And we're just shifting it off the coast of Venezuela. And I'll also say there's this guy, John Yoo. John Yoo wrote the memo on torture for the George Bush administration. He was the guy who provided the legal justification for the Bush administration to do torture. Even he is saying this is going too far. You lost the torture guy. What are we doing?
Hey, yo, Mark, I'm going to need you to expand on that. What do you mean peace in Gaza came from posturing?
So Mark's a pro-Israel guy. But, like, Mark, even
okay. All right, then. Let's opinion.
And I would say, like, to our point here, even first of all, Gaza isn't at peace yet, but the even to the point, there was stakes on each side. There was this side wants this side wants this. There's posturing, there's war, there's fighting.
Well, I'm gonna even push back on that one right there. Like, what posturing happened in Gaza? I can't even begin to say like anything was close to posturing. The United States didn't do anything. Like, we weren't posturing. We weren't pretending we were ever going to do anything to Israel. There was never a meaningful conversation about like arms embargoes or anything like that. And Israel didn't even bother to posture. They just killed 70,000 people. Like,
and they're still doing airstrikes.
They're still doing airstrikes right now. Peace, the ceasefire, whatever the fuck you want to call it in Gaza, came from Israel beating them into submission. The deal that we have right now is still very much a kill yourself or die fucking bill. Like, it's still very much kill yourself or we're going to tell you what to do or blah, 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 or whatever. Like, it's just nothing great is coming from this.
Released. And the point here is I don't want to jump into that can of worms.
That's valid. I could go on.
I encourage you guys to watch our last episode. We did did you guys see the what's her name? Sarah something or other, Hershwitz or something.
You talk about the speechwriter? We just talked about that today on the podcast, bro. That shit was crazy.
It's fucking crazy. Like I'm gonna watch your podcast one because ours was excellent. I rewatched it today. Like that all the way down was fucking fantastic. Yes, I don't need to rehash Israel on this show, but point is, there was goals that different sides wanted to accomplish in that entire conflict. There is none here. I could not tell you what Donald Trump wants Venezuela to do differently other than stop dealing drugs, which isn't a thing that anyone can agree to. Like if that's how dealing drugs worked, the war on drugs would have been successful many years ago. Like, that's just not how any of this works, and we all know that. So, like, I don't know what the goal of the military posturing is even supposed to be, and that scares me because the only logical conclusion to that is the goal is to go to war. Like that's the most likely reason in my mind. Any last notes on this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
Shit sucks bigly.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, I did have one comment I wanted to it was a question that we got from one of our viewers. I thought it was a really, really good question. I really should have started it so I could find it. Oh, here it is. So he says, "Hey guys, discussion moment. What does Charlie Kirk and a beer bottle have in common?"
Feds
watching.
This is an NSP. Show. We run an NSPM 7 compliant show. Feds watching. Condemn. That's what I got to say about the issue.
I condemn the violence, man. I definitely condemn the violence. This is just stating facts after the case in the same way that Trump is just stating that it's illegal. Like you can get hanged for committing sedition. It's just a fact.
Insane. Yeah. Final thoughts on that one. Condemn. Boo. Feds watching.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching this very special episode of The Left Wing. We are here with wonderful returning guests, Gage and Jeremy from Head in the Office. Obviously, if you are watching this right now, you went and subscribed to them on the previous times they were here. But just in case you weren't, Gage, Jeremy, where can they find you?
You can find us at Head in the Office on Twitter, Threads, fucking Blue Sky if we still post on there. Substack, that's a big one we just launched. Trying to launch 2 a week over there. TikTok and everywhere you get your podcasts.
All right.
Please check
Wonderful.
out the Substack.
Thank you guys very much for being here. You could also find our Substack, which we tried to launch, and I believe I got 3 posts in before I gave up that shit.
It's
it's nice. I would love to do more with it, but there's only so many goddamn hours in the day. But thank you guys for watching. We will be back. We will not be back next week. We're taking off for the week of Thanksgiving. We will be back the following Tuesday at 6:35 EST. Make sure to like and subscribe so you know when we'll be going live. See you guys later.
Bye.
Later.